Hello everybody, welcome to my Friday vlog. My name's Toby, and let me start by thanking my colleague Richard Chillery for a really powerful and personal and heartfelt voice of Ardash last week, talking about the Poverty Truth Commission that he is causing to happen locally, and also talking about our Rainbow Network and what that means to him and indeed to his husband and his wider family. I'm going to talk about just two things this week, and I'm going to make no apology for probably the register of my voice being relatively passionate as I do, because whilst there are lots of very difficult and challenging things happening in the NHS at the moment, and whilst with the reports about deaths in Nottingham out, many of us will be thinking about the work that we do and the difficulties that it can present. I want to focus on two, in my view, extraordinarily positive things that are happening here in this organisation. And consistent with my vlog a couple of weeks ago, I want to explain most importantly why we are doing those things. So the first of those things is related to staff, to people in our organisation. The second affects us all, but is primarily focused on patients and carers. Now, in 2023, the board of directors of this trust, as you will know, adopted a strategy, and that contains our promises. And within those promises that I've talked to you about before is Promise 25. Many of you will immediately think that is the one about the real living wage. And there's two parts to that. Part of it is about buying locally. So within 25 miles of the sites of this organisation, there's a strange map on the screen as I talk that shows you where that is. Just yesterday we were having our climate adaptation day, and part of that was a conversation about local sourcing, about food security and so on. But the heart of Promise 25, the heart of the real living wage accreditation promise, is just that: paying the real living wage. Now, Colleen Holden has been doing some learning half-day sessions on exactly what this is. It's not the minimum wage, it's not the national living wage. This is higher than either of those. It is the real living wage, and there are about 75 NHS organisations that pay the real living wage, including neighbours like Sheffield Children's Hospital. From April of this year, our organisation is going to do just that. What that means is if you are on the entry point of a Band 3, if you are a Band 2 employee in our organisation, or even the one or two people we have that chose some years ago to remain on Band 1, your wage will go up on an hourly basis to currently £12.60 an hour. Why are we doing that? Well, let me be very plain about it. 1 in 5 people who work in our organisation, including the people who clean our facilities, including most of the people who nurse within our ward environments, are paid less than the real living wage. I mean no disrespect to the gentleman who delivers stuff to my house or the lady who works in our local supermarket, but it cannot be right that in the context of the environment we work in, with all the challenges and professional difficulties that that brings, that we are expecting people to come to work and go home not able to meet the basic necessities of their life. That impacts them, it impacts their loved ones, their kids who might not have access to childcare, the food that they're able to purchase, and the rest. We all know it, but we tolerate it in plain sight. And whilst it can't be for the board of Ardash to remake pay policy for the health service, I'm proud, and I hope you are too, that as an organisation, we are choosing to join those other NHS organisations who are going in this direction. It won't come without difficulty. There will be people who are paid towards the bottom of a Band 3, but above that entry point, who may feel frustrated that a colleague, maybe with fewer qualifications, is now paid very close to what they are paid. I'm afraid the narrowing of our pay band isn't something I can change. I can't remake, the board cannot remake the whole of our pay structure. But we think with the money that we do have in our £225 million, that it must be right for us to have fair pay in our organisation. National trade unions over many years have supported this campaign, and April is when in this organisation we will implement it. If you want to know more, look out for Carlene's next Learning Half Day in March, or get in touch with her, with me, the chair of the trust, or with your local managers. From April, things will change. So then there's a second thing, and it isn't a three-letter acronym. It possibly goes by the title High Quality Therapeutic Care. And earlier in the week, I chaired the first of the monthly task force meetings that govern the work we're going to do over the next year. Probably the most important message in this part of my film is to look at the names of the people on that task force and to choose who you would talk to feed your views and your voice into our conversations. We will not ultimately be the decision-making body. That will be for the clinical leadership executive and, on a small number of matters, for the board of directors. But you wouldn't expect that I've gathered together so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much clinical expertise into a room if we weren't going to pay great attention to the work of the task force. And the voices I heard earlier in the week spoke to a desire for much greater consistency in the way in which we provide inpatient care. That might be consistency between a Tuesday and a Saturday. It might be consistency between the standards we're able to achieve at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It could be consistency between what we're able to deliver in Scunthorpe, in Swallow Nest, or on the Tick Hill roadside, or at Woodlands. People spoke to the fact that things could be better, that staff feel at risk of violence and aggression, that patients sometimes do not know the care plan that they should be involved in developing. The carers or peer support workers may struggle to gain access to our wards, even as I talk to staff when I do peer reviews and they ask me for more investment, more staff, more distraction, more stimulation in our clinical environments. So I've got to be honest, I'm excited about the HQTC. I think it offers us a possibility of significant changes over the coming period, taking the best of what we already do and trying to make it how we do things here at Ardash. We'll pay attention to national direction and national narratives, but we will also set aside the desire to get involved in any number of different programs and focus instead on our own work to improve the quality of care that we provide. That's why around the task force there will be a help team who will work within and from our wards to make the changes that you think will matter most for our patients. And of course, we are doing this work with our patients. We did discuss the future arrangements for older people's care in our organisation. You will gather from recent vlogs that we've invested in memory services. Last year, we invested more in psychology services in older people's care. But there have also been changes that have been difficult. The emergency closure of the Brambles ward, I know, has caused great concern and great distress and anger. And it's important that we bring a period of uncertainty to a conclusion. I'd expect that the board of directors at the end of March will do just that, when we need to make decisions about the balance of investment between community-based services and inpatient services, and the best way to look after people with both functional and organic diseases. Where's the best place for us to look after somebody with dementia? Is it, for example, in one place across our geography? Is it in an inpatient ward at all? Or should it be in particular parts of our ward with dedicated and specially trained staff? These are the kind of questions that the people that I'm working alongside in the task force are grappling with, and I know they would benefit from your ideas and your views. I said this vlog would have a slightly different tone to my voice. I think that bring greater consistency to the care we give some of our most vulnerable patients. And tackling low pay in the NHS are both things that as Ardashians we should be fiercely proud that we're going to do something about. I hope you agree with me, and either way, I hope you have a cracking weekend. Cheers.